Hello everybody, I'm Mark Evers, and today I am going to quickly go over the setup of umbrella, the light stand, and the flash unit itself. This is basically going to be based for someone who's a complete beginner, just recently bought all this equipment and is not really sure how to set it up properly, and is strictly just the setup, is not actually using it. So we'll get started on this. The items that you should need when you actually set this up is the actual light stand itself. You'll need the adapter to hold the flash and the umbrella. Of course, the umbrella itself as well too. And flash unit. We'll start off with the light stand. They're all going to be different depending on which one you got, but for the most part. And bolt the tensioning bolt here, and tighten it up so you get the legs spread out nicely. Now, depending on your space, if you're shooting outdoors, you probably want to adjust it so you get the most amount of spread to give yourself the most stability. If you're shooting in a tighter area, maybe like indoors if you have a small studio, I'd probably actually recommend that you run it a little bit more along that lines there, just so it takes up less room, but it just kind of mostly depends on your situation. And from there, again, there'll be some sort of a way to adjust the height of it. You just adjust it to the height working height that you can assemble everything. The stands will come with some sort of little knob on there. That is actually what your umbrella bracket goes on. So the umbrella bracket just slides on there with the shoe mount up, tighten it up so it doesn't move, or you can have it a little bit loose to move it around. Now, the hole where the umbrella actually goes through, some of these brackets, it literally goes straight through. Other ones are on a little bit of an angle. I'm exaggerating here, but it goes on a little bit of an angle. Now, if the one that you have does actually go on a bit of an angle, that like the one I have here, then the part that's pointing upwards is the direction that you want to feed the umbrella in. So in this example, this is my high side, so my umbrella will go in like this versus going in this way here, so it's pointing down more. And I'll explain that in a second as to why. Now, umbrellas come in different varieties. There's shoot-through umbrellas. And this one here is a reflective umbrella, so you don't actually shoot through because of the black. But actually, in reality, this one here is a convertible and the black cover does come off. So just three common types, just a plain shoot-through, just a plain reflective, and what I believe they call a convertible, where you can take the black off to convert your your reflective to a shoot-through umbrella. So you just open up your umbrella, pop it in there, and there will be a little screw here which tightens up the umbrella. Now, it should be noted that these umbrella tubes are hollow, so don't tighten it so much that you're going to completely crush the tube. So just make it snug. And typically what I also tend to do is, because you have the umbrella extended like this, I tend to keep the umbrella as parallel as I can with one of the legs, just to give it a little bit more stability. Because if you have it turned like that, then it's more apt to want to fall over versus like this. It's just more balanced. So the next step is your flash. Pretty much fairly self-explanatory. You slide it into the cold shoe, tighten it up, and you point this in to the umbrella. Now, this goes back to the point about the angle here. Now, the reason that you point it up a little bit is because if you have it pointing the other direction, so it's on a slight angle down, then your flash might not actually point right into the center. So having it on a bit of an angle helps it so the flash actually is firing into the center instead of up a little bit higher. So that is the basic setup there. Now, I have shown here, I actually have the umbrella not all the way. I have a fair bit amount extended here, and here I basically have it pretty much right to the end. Now, when you're first getting started out, I recommend that you have it set up like this, because if you have it in too tight like this, then when your flash fires, it's not going to light up the whole umbrella. It's just going to light up just the center part of it. And ideally, that's not what you want. So ideally, you would want it like that, so your flash will fill the umbrella as much as possible. And one other item is with your flash, when you do have it on here, when you turn it on, depending on your flash, I can't really tell you how to do it, but there will be a zoom function on the flash, which typically range from about 35 millimeters to 100-ish millimeters. It's going to vary depending on the make and model of your flash. You want it to be as wide as possible to give you as much coverage in the umbrella as possible. And some flashes actually have a little diffuser here. And if you put that diffuser down, it'll spread the light out even more. So that is a good thing to keep in mind, is to make sure you have your flash zoom as wide as possible. If your flash doesn't have a zoom and it's just sort of a fixed one, because maybe it's an older one or a cheaper one, then you definitely want to make sure you have this back as far as possible so it can fill as much as possible into the umbrella. And that is pretty much the basics of it. I know you'll sometimes see people intentionally have the umbrella like this, more specifically with like a shoot-through umbrella, and that's sort of a little bit more advanced technique, just if you want to get a more confined light versus a big spread light. And other times you'll see people actually doing this and collapsing their umbrella around their flash. And again, that is another advanced technique where they're almost using their flash more like a snoot to sort of aim the light. So, but for someone who's just learning, I pretty much recommend that you have them set up like this or like this. And just one other item too, while I'm thinking of it, is the difference between the shoot through and a reflective. Is if I am the subject that I'm shooting with the reflective, I want it aimed this way so the light bounces in and comes back on me. Versus a shoot through umbrella, I would actually want it more the other direction, so I would actually have it facing me like this. So I know I've seen some beginners are not sure which way to face the umbrellas, but that's pretty much the way you want to have it set up with these style of umbrellas. So I hope you have found this information helpful. If you like the content, give it a thumbs up. If you really like what you're seeing, subscribe to my channel. And if you have any questions, put them in the comments below. Thanks a lot. Bye.